Heru? Sorry about that. Ai, demorou um bocadinho mais. O que eu estava a pensar que estávamos aqui a acabar umas cenas. Será isso um segundo? Ai, bora lá então. Yo, what up, brother? Thank you for stopping by. Bora lá então. Let's go. Ver o que é que descobrimos hoje.
Our tenant, the policeman. I hope the wave damn that girl.
And without anger, a long and harsh life has taught her not to buckle under pressure.
But you didn't put it there, did you? She did.
Gone and hid things in there? She's usually a good tenant, and not a stupid one either. Yes, I let my room to that Ruby girl. As I've done before when she's been in trouble or just looking for solitude. I've made it clear. She came last Friday, left on Monday in a hurry. What has she gotten herself into?
That's for the police to find out. Right there. Please answer each question to the best of your ability. I'm sure we have a few.
Yes, early with the dogs, around 8 o'clock, I think.
She probably heard the lieutenant's Kanema drive by, and it woke her up, just like it did you.
Yes. That is a downside of having a 130 kilowatt engine. It lets the bad guys know when you are coming.
I cleaned it, like I always do. No,
The truth, sire.
she's good company. Knows how to talk to an old woman. At my age, you don't get a lot of quality conversation. So I really appreciate that about her.
Did she talk to you much during her last stay?
No, she was mostly silent this time, kept to herself. She tried not to let it show, but I could tell she hadn't come to fish. Usually she likes to cast a few lines, but this time she mostly stayed in her room. How would I know? She's a gruff one, but not violent. She doesn't go around toting a gun. Not that I know of, though she was into nice music. She once showed me a few mixtape milieux she'd made. Although I guess she was pretty handy with the mechanical and technical stuff. Even fixed the heater in the shack.
She may simply have kept the equipment elsewhere.
I don't know. Further up the coast, she tried to leave quietly, but the hinges on that door screeched like a cat in heat. Woke me up. I heard her rushing in.
It's a peninsula.
You'll never find her, you know. She knows the coast like the back of her hand. You only just.
I wouldn't worry about that, ma'am. We are persistent.
Yes, it's going to be too much work for you to find her. Better for you to stay here, get a nice, cozy fire.
No, you can do it. You still have plenty of juice in you before you. Behind the cinder block houses, old pre-war ruins rise to the sky.
What more do you want to know about that poor girl? Yes, let's hear those other. One, she's a good girl. Whatever she's gotten herself mixed up in.
The scruffy-haired little boy kicks a stone. He can't be more than 5 years. The other one looks indistinguishable from him. He watches his brother kick the stone with his tongue lolling out of his mouth. This one doesn't say anything. Kicking.
Lily's our mum.
The stone kicker laughs suddenly. His head is too. The other one laughs. Wow, so intellectually stimulating.
What bad people?
I don't think questioning 4-year-olds without their parents present is going to crack the case.
The stone kicking one becomes frantic all of a sudden.
He looks just like me.
The boy doesn't answer. His brother throws. The rock kicker was just being shy, but now he's enthusiastic.
You're bad with kids. Don't worry, everyone is. How about we do some police work now? We're not getting anything here.
Hey, Tequila! Good to see you. How's business? How's the whole reality situation treating you? So what's happening? Yeah, Tequila Sunset. How are the, high concept reality based adventures proceeding?
He says it like it's obviously your name, like you call someone Billy Brunel or leader of the 4th Street Gang.
Things aren't going super well for Idiot Doom Spiral either. Haven't found those keys yet, haven't won that great piece of ass back, no word.
Idiot Doom Spiral, huh? This is bound to be a good, high-concept conversation. At last.
We are saving the world.
Please! Please don't go! Don't go!
Okay, we're drinking. We're drinking alcohol. That's what we're doing. I tried to... So now, it's a pirate's life for me. It's you. We've met before.
No, you sure don't.
Maybe. You look like you want to know how Tequila Sunset came to be. Let me take a sip to moisten up my chords. Tequila Sunset rolled into Martinez last Friday, and by Tequila Sunset, I mean you. The man, the myth. Hey, let's not jump ahead of ourselves. This is your story. You got here on Friday to solve a case, hoping to be the early bird who gets the worm. And by the worm, I mean... Word on the street is you went around the local hostel telling people that you're a police officer, and that it would be really fucked up if you shot yourself in the head, right?
It is. The lieutenant's brow is furrowed. He's listening as casually as he can.
Hey, man, I'm not judging. This life's a valley of woes. Some of the highest concept people in history have killed themselves. Either way, it was a late Saturday night when we, the Union of Moribund Alcoholics, got our drink on. Nothing remarkable about this. We get our drink on 24/7. Except one moment we hear the sound of a motor carriage revving up somewhere on the plaza.
Do you remember the sound of wood cracking? The billboard.
Naturally, loud noises pique the interest of anybody owning a pair of ears. That's just the reality we're... Anyway, there was a brief silence. A gasp of silence, if you will. Followed by a real commotion. We heard the carriage careening towards the coast at top speed. Sounded like someone jumped the canal. We grabbed our brewskis and rushed to the jetty. Never underestimate the speed of an alcoholic. What we saw was a sight to behold. A beat-up police carriage containing you. Right there on the beach. You revved the engine and screamed at the top of your lungs, "The time hath come!" So, naturally, being the curious cat I am, The time hath come for Tequila Sunset, the end of all things! After which, your reality contracted. You jammed the pedal, plowed right off the jetty.
The muscles in your right leg tense up.
We ran towards the ice whilst you crawled your way out, miraculously unhurt, covered in seaweed. When we finally got there, you were sitting on the beach crying. You said that your badge and uniform were in the car. It was...
In this way, you and your motor carriage have a lot in common.
Recognizing a brother in need, we offered our condolences and invited you to... We asked about the whole Tequila Sunset thing, and you told us it was your name now and insisted that we all call you that from then on. No, that's just what your mother called you. Your real name, ours. It was an all-night drink-a-thon. Then, at some point, I think it was Sunday morning, you got belligerent and wanted to talk about Revacholian women. How they're beautiful and also whores and so on. How one of them fucked you real bad. After a short while you...
Wow. That's...
Yeah, I bet Tequila's a fucking legend around the precinct.
If you only knew.
You were pretty vague about it, but you kept saying you got...
No one's fucked me. I do the fucking around.
Abigail!
It seemed pretty painful, to be honest with you. If I had to guess, I'd say you're still working through some shit. Beside your gun and your badge, you said something about your hope or heart or something. In retrospect, I guess you lost your motor carriage too? That's a big one. You told us that they were a bunch of fucking losers whose main interest was cramping your style. No specifics, though. It was more about you that night. You were the star of the show. Yeah, you said it was no biggie and that you'd solve it in no time. And that you didn't need any...
A lot of cops go solo and hermit once they reach that level of alcoholism.
Yeah, you said that it was okay that you crashed your carriage because the spectral hand of the market was guiding. This was before you started talking about how the Pinkies were always trying to fuck you. You kept apologizing for being such a bad cop. And for the... You also kept pausing to knock the heel of your hand against your temples, saying, "Stupid, stupid, stupid." It's a hard thing for a man to confront his past. That's why I avoid mine at all costs. Can't really remember seeing any women after...
He really has no idea who this Ruby is, sire.
What's it about? Maybe you've heard. I used to be a very successful businessman. I've signed more than a few lease forms or whatever the fuck they were. Anyone? All right. Hey, Abs. Hey, Abs.
Don't you? You call Abigail.
I need you to sign this document.
Don't call her.
Don't call Abigail. Great job, Abs. Nailed it. Don't know if I've mentioned it, but I used to be a businessman. And as a businessman...
No, that was my favorite thing of all the things you have. My favorite is the gun he lost.
Hey, guys. We're here.
About fucking time, man. I've done my duty.
Don't call Abigail.
Thank you for your services, gentlemen. Should we go and mail these? I think...
Okay, what's on your mind? Whoop-de-doo. So now I'm a fucking storyteller. Right. It depends, really.
You might get scammed here.
No, the reality of the situation requires a rather modest contribution. Booze! Did you already forget our party? So, have you got anything for good old idiot Doom Spiral? A bottle for a story. Classy.
Hey, Spiral Boy, you gonna share that?
Don't call her.
Shut up, guys. I'm telling a story here. Something happened to you. I was once a reasonably high net worth individual. A founder / junior partner at a high concept creative services agency. I used the profits from my agency to finance what I called a cultural incubator. I developed the paradigm, worked within the paradigm, but the burden of leadership weighed heavily on me. 22 full-time employees, an all-star team, a potentially historical... It did, with my trusty Sansarique tracksuit, but now dreams are worn thin, much like my tracksuit. One day I left on my evening run. As you may know, it's impossible to clear your head when you're distracted by the sound of keys jangling in your pockets.
His eyes are clouded. His dilated blood vessels. His eyes are your...
So I removed the key ring and put the keys for the front gate and the apartment into different pockets to stop. I was halfway done with my usual lap when it started to rain. The reality situation became very wet. Wet, okay? It was raining really hard. I made my way back home and discovered that I didn't have the key to the front gate. I'd mixed it up with the key to the letterbox. Naturally, the situation required me to climb over the gate, which I did. There was no climbing down because I slipped and landed on my ass. Ouch, indeed. Reality was looking rather grim just then. me lying on my ass, so I made my way across the yard. Standing in front of my apartment door, fumbling with my pockets. I wish I were Tequila. I wish I were. Instead of my apartment, I rang my neighbor's buzzers. It was late, and most of them didn't even answer. People are naturally wary of ad men, you see. One moment someone chats you up, 5 minutes later you've bought a box of edible lingerie and a strap-on. I don't begrudge them, especially just then I experienced a moment of clarity. But when I reached my office, I remembered that I'd asked one of my producers to change the locks that day. Anyway, long story short, life spiraled out of control. I haven't gotten into my apartment for years. So, now you've heard my tragic tale. What do you think? Like nothing you've ever heard, huh? Tequila, I've thought about this series of events for a long time. If there was anything else...
Why didn't you go to the authorities?
Well, at one point they came to me, but, you know, I can't say it increased my faith in the RCM. No offense, gentlemen. The hobo lifestyle definitely has some perks. Not having to pay rent, first and foremost. Not being responsible for 20 other people isn't. But that charm wears off pretty quickly. Before you know it, you're wearing a shit-stained tracksuit and spending your days picking tear. Good fucking question, Tequila. If I knew the answer, you think I'd be hanging out? I used to own my reality situation. My business buddies and I had our own creative services agency. Now I can't hang on to anything. Just last week I stole this nice new jacket.
A lost jacket? Sounds like a mystery you could look into.
My agency, man. The Boom Boom Room. I convinced my partners to reinvest some of our profits in an even more high concept. I was financing a group of poets in East Revachol who were developing a new universal poetic
Sounds intriguing. If it sounds like it makes no sense, that's because it doesn't.
I know! It was fucking awesome! Too bad I went on a jog, unleashing a cascade of doom that washed it all away. What? You've never seen 100% Lycra before? Pretty nice, huh? This might be one of the last of its kind.
Good God. It's nearly impossible to describe how dirty this texture is. It's like rubbing two jellyfish. Randomized trials have also found Lycra, TM, to be associated with a number, and then there's the smell.
Wow, you're lucky.
That's because your paws are fucking filthy, Rosie. We're right next to the bay. You could wash them any time. My fellow members of the Union of Moribund...
Hey, Tequila!
Shut the fuck up, Rosemary.
I thought he was a cool...
Don't call her.
And this is Abs. So yeah, that's basically us. We drink together. Tequila, it's a verifiable tragedy. It was practically brand new. Say, you're a detective, right? Maybe you can help old Doom spiral out. Solve the case of the missing jacket. What do you say to... Yeah, exactly. If I knew where I lost it, don't you think I'd have it? I mean, somewhere north of here, that's for sure. You could ask around, see if any... I'm all ears, Tequila. What's in a name?
Hey, Spiral Boy.
Don't call...
Shut up. I was once a reasonably high net... I developed the paradigm. Where it did... But now... One day I...
His eyes.
So I was halfway done with... I made my way back. Naturally, the situation required me to climb...
No, you don't.
Whatever. The point is... So I made my way across the yard. I rang my neighbors. People are just then. But when I... Anyway, so... Now you've heard my tragic tale. What do you... Yeah... Maybe I've exaggerated certain parts over the years. When you tell a story... But what matters is that it's true to my subjective experience.
Truly, he has the soul of an artist.
I do. But as you can see, my fuel tank is running quite low. If you catch my drift. cottonmouth is keeping my tongue imprisoned. You too,
You take the legal documents out of the envelope. The youth center cuts into a police badge on which you see the photo.
Hello, mister.
She clutches a small stuffed animal. Occasionally, she twirls it around.
Oh, I had gloves.
Where did you get these gloves?
Found them when Lemmy and I were playing hide and seek in an empty house where no one lives. I hid them. The twins were gonna take them. They're stupid.
We are going to need those gloves. It's for him.
Oh. They're in my sandcastle. Behind our house. Under the sand. You can break the castle. It's not very good. Luby. Raluby. My mom tells me I'm a big girl. But she doesn't know that I can't say Earl. Or sometimes I can.
Kids.
Yes, I am. Little Lily. That's nice. My mom is great. She's never angry or anything. Yes. They don't want to play with me. They're older and play outside. They look the same. Sometimes I can't tell them apart. They look identical. It's a grouse.
Wasn't Garth, the cafeteria manager, trying to repair a piece of taxidermy?
I don't know. Sure. Just go.
All right. You just need to grab it from the ceiling and go.
It's Lammy. He's my friend. Sort of.
Lambie is a stuffed lamb that, admittedly, has seen better days. One of the eye buttons is missing, and the fur is tattered in several.
Yes. Lammy has lived a long life. Lammy was a... Yes! Lammy was a... It's Lammy!
Lambie is a stuffed lamb.
Yes. Very soft. Isn't he soft? Bye!
Weather has not been kind to Lily's little sandcastle. The once mighty towers are quickly eroding away. You can see something shining back to you from what must have been a vast underground
The little castle? The reigning lord must have come upon some really tough times to let it sleep in such decrepitude.
The walls and floors give way to the giant's greed, collapse and present you with a pair of ceramic gauntlets.
Congratulations. That's the gauntlets down there.
As you fold your fingers into a fist, you realize you could knock anyone out with one. Your movements cause tiny little clicks, like dice rolling somewhere far away, as the plates reorient to your motions. The hardened vitreous enamel, at once sleek and light, adds a glow to your cheeks and a spring to your step. You really do feel more confident. Invulnerability does that, even partial invulnerability. 2. Are you sure you're correct there? There was a helmet too. 3 pieces more like. It may be a while before you have all the pieces. In the meantime, you should remember this is a highly specialized kinetic redistributor meant to stop bullets. Wear it for the day you have to fight someone covered in. scattering of bullet holes is spread across the cracked wall, reaching from one corner to the other.
Correct. The density of the bullet holes is unusual. Even in a general average bullet hole frequency map, meaning this is a lot of bullet holes. Looks like fully automatic rifle fire. Something you don't see these days. The manufacturing and sale of automatic rifles was curtailed after the revolution. The destructive power of such tools proved to be too much.
A scattering of bullet holes is spread across the cracked wall. A row of ghostly shades stand facing the wall. There are many of them, a dozen at least. Their heads lowered and are 10 meters away. Other shades are lined up in an orderly manner. Automatic rifles primed. The sun blazes high up in the sky, baking the planks. A long time has passed since the moment of this fusillading. Rain and the abundance of bullet holes leads to two options. Either an inordinate amount of executions were performed here, or they did not use a conscience round, where only one soldier has the loaded rifle. Looks like this was a mass execution with everyone. A host of men, probably in everyday clothes, ragged from the conflict and covered in dust. They stand, facing the wall. It's impossible to discern any detail. 7 men in combat uniforms and dark coats, holding automatic rifles aimed at the people. Soldiers from some side. The commandant, the one who gives the order. Machine gun fire crackling through the air. The lights of the muzzle flashes dance.
I don't know. I don't know who died here, lined up beside that horrible wall. It could have perhaps the ones executed here were the loyalist conservatives, killed by the communists at the start of the Civil War. Or it could even have been the employees of the failed R&D center down the coast, as their building was taken over.
Or maybe...
Yeah, it's very unlikely the coalition forces were the ones who died here. To be honest, if a coalition member was anyone in this situation, it was the commandant, the superior giving the order.
A cold sea wind. As you approach, the man turns and greets you.
Ah, super. It's the officer. I was not. What brings you down to the scenic Martinez coast? Well, that's très simple. I was visiting the fishing village just north of here. They have applied for a series of and then, well, I had some extra time on my hands, so I decided to stroll down here. It's quite peaceful, isn't it? Really? Here? How can you be sure? Ah, a very useful gift for a police detective, I'm sure. Fascinating.
Are you just going to let him get away with these generalities and euphemisms?
Yes, the loss of human life was truly catastrophic. This is why the coalition is so... Thankfully, the region is becoming more and more stable. I'm confident that atrocities like...
Tranquilo, below. Let's not get into this. You can't argue with someone.
Ah bon? I'm all ears, officer. My friend, if it's la responsabilité you're after, I have good news for you.
God, Of course it does.
The Comité de Responsabilité de Revachol. It acts as a sort of clearinghouse for coalition activities. To put
Yes, this is just the...
I would offer to connect you with the committee myself, but alas.
What? Where is he speaking figuratively? He means he's not in Martinez in his official capacity.
Précisément. Officially, I am still in La Dette. That's why it would be extremely irregular, or potentially even inappropriate. Yes, you've made your persistence quite clear. But if you have information of a vital interest, they might be willing to entertain an exception. In which case, I would advise you to contact them via Coalition Warship Archer. You see, in addition to being an airborne artillery platform, Coalition Warship Archer is also the linchpin of the Coalition's surveillance and communications infrastructure and listening. It has the most objective vantage point in the entire city. Not to mention, I find it a great comfort to know there are benevolent powers watching over all in strict
The Bristol Moon Conventions are a series of international agreements governing the treatment of military personnel and civilians in theaters of war, as well as occupied territories.
This is quite the problem. Very tricky. Of course, the Arch, but in that case, you would require a radio transmitter capable of broadcasting on coalition frequencies. And that kind of... I suppose there might be some way to circuit bend your way onto those frequencies, but you'd have to be one of those techno-tinkerers to do it. Unfortunately not. No, I don't have the pleasure. I am merely a representative.
Ah, good. Techno-tinkerers. Just...
Let me just say that I have complete confidence in the RCM. I'm sure you'll figure something out. Always my pleasure to be of assistance to the...
There's no way the perp is in here, officer. Look how scarred the boards are. All attempts to pry them off have failed. Not this time. The opposition is insurmountable, but I like the spirit. Have some points. It's lonely and cold without points.
The suspect? God, I hope not. I can't see a way in, though many have tried.
And Mikhail noticed the windows, especially with how there are no windows on the south side. This was to deal with. You officers, come to investigate the historic subtext of West Martinez? I'm Trond Heilerstad. You must be Kim Kitsuragi, right? I was just telling my son about this building.
Nice to meet you.
Yes, hypertext, young carp, and the collection of cultural hyperlinks. Oh yes, so Mikhail. They had to deal with monitor glare, especially in the summer. They still had vector monitors back then. That was 49 years ago. So they didn't have windows on the south wall. No, I can't say that we've met before, but I've heard of him, of course. Mikhail, say hi to the officers. Mikhail's a little tired today. We spent all night trying to run Orbis on his radio computer. Have you heard of it? It's a programming language used in Grad. Quite tricky, but he wanted to play this Grad made...
The man speaks in the artificial cadence of a professor.
But I assume you're not here for giant worms when there are so many real things to see. Just as I was telling Mikhail before, this is where the Coalition landed in '08. We could be standing on what is the most interesting...
Wow, get a load of this guy. He really enjoys his trivia. The Orbis programming language was named after its inventor, Victor Orbis, a cybernetician from Grad. They run Vox in the Occidental countries.
No, I'm afraid I can't help you with this one, officer.
So you haven't seen any...
No, I'm sorry. As I said, this is just a...
He's telling the truth. He hasn't seen anyone.
Aha! But it's not just any empty old building. What not a lot of people know is, this used to be the R&D department of Felt Electrical. And Felt, which now sells ink cartridges mostly, was once a top dog in the turn-of-the-century cybernetics boom.
It looks old and weathered, with seagulls picking apart its stone and metal carcass. Bushy undergrowth has taken hold of the...
That's not surprising. Only a vestigial ink cartridge and ferrotape manufacturer remains. They started out as a Midway electronics outfit in Königstein 2 centuries ago. After an aggressive move to Revachol, Feld became a global player in the emerging personal electronics market of the pre-revolutionary era. Still, Tricentennial was beating them in business machines. But Feld had an ace up their sleeve, or should I say they were developing an ace up their sleeve. I'm mixing my metaphors here. It was here in Martinez, possibly in this very building, that they developed prototype. An elegant folding mechanism of rollers and ferrotape ribbons, portable enough to be a take-it-home solution. Revolutionizing business machines, possibly even bring, which is a feat of engineering, even today's giants, Rehm, ICN and ZAM.
He assumes something like a combat stance, facing the wind.
Indeed.
The revolution!
Unfortunately, their moonshot project never made it to the market. Feld's move to Revachol backfired. The revolutionary government liquefied their assets and expropriated those very advanced prototypes. Possibly from this very build. All of this was built by Feld, even the boardwalk. Wild Pines built Martinez proper as a resort for their middle management. Feld built this side of town for R&D. Yes, they even built a pleasure wheel, but that got destroyed.
A pleasure wheel?
Yes, to lure in their star engineers. This part of Martinez was nothing but reeds before Feld arrived. They had to make the prospect of living here attractive. Oh, I'm afraid it didn't end well for the boys. But this story is a bit too dark for little Mikhail here.
He means that the boys got shot by the communists. The boys were bourgeois.
Tape computers. They used them for military communications, but also to write and send out press releases. The most notorious example being... What's the Mars Decree? I mean the radio transmission sent out to news agencies and world governments by the newly created Commune of Revachol on...
A short-lived legislative foundation for...
It's a beautiful piece of text, actually. A singer-songwriter I know, Charette, called it a love poem to Revachol on her political concept album, Bombessere d'Insolente. I tried to get Mikhail to memorize it. Tried to. Someone was much too interested in worms to be...
The kid takes a peek at the green and silver worm on the cover of the book, already forgetting about this part of the discussion.
Actually, no one knows. No one even knows what a computer made entirely of tape would look like. But word has it, They were very elegant.
Buckle up.
10 years ago, I did a little freelancing, I guess you could say. I was a special consultant for an exhibition at the Wompty Dumpty Dum Center in Vredefort, Oranje. It raised the same questions, and we had lengthy
Wait, did he just say Wumpty Dumpty Dum Center? What the hell is a Wumpty Dumpty Dum Center? And who the hell are Keith and Guy?
The Wompty Dumpty Dum Center for Contemporary Arts. The exhibition itself drew on Lagerman's notion of memory, and so there were some parallels. That's why the head curator, Paul Ockerman, chose... In fact, I'm not. The Wompty Dumpty Dum Center is a place you can visit if you're ever in Vredefort and are ever... But perhaps I should return to the tape computers. As I was saying, the device itself was very elegant, fragile even. One could write directly on the tape using a special chemical solution.
Made of black film and folding tape structures.
Very, very cool. Though I understand the socio-economic causes of the revolution, it pains me to imagine the revolutionary setting fire to this precious device. But so they did. The felt playback experiment vanished into the fire. Yes, the official name of the prototype. Some sources report it as the felt playback experience. But who knows? Maybe it was an accident, or maybe they didn't want the technology to end up in the wrong hands. Either way, they're all gone now. All 3 versions of the prototype. Nothing but of course. What else? Sure, what's on your mind? But of course. What else? I do have some money, yes, but that's not what's really important here.
No, I mean, come on. You need the money. If it's not a thing, he can give you some.
Of course, Detective. I wouldn't have assumed anything else. Matter of fact, I don't know if you're familiar with this, but the Vespertine Department of Justice has published a rather interesting paper on the If not, then you definitely should. If not for tips and tricks, then just for theoretical curiosity. Anyway.
Forget it. They don't sell those kind of books at crime, romance, and biographies of...
I do have...
No,
Oh no, I don't have it on me, officer. I was talking in more... I'm just spending time with my kid here, showing him around the lesser-known parts of our hometown.
Not that he would have to worry about being robbed. He looks surprisingly buff. Does he work out?
I do some Lomantang stick fighting now.
Lo Mantang stick fighting is a form of martial arts originating from the island of Lo Mantang. It's used...
Actually, a great many cultures have their own version of stick fighting, such as the sacred Mabolo tradition of the Harley people. The name...
You doze off as he paints you a comprehensive picture. Man, he's good at speak.
But anyway, I'm boring you with details again. You were saying? Then I guess everything got said, right? I do, sir.
Lo Mantang.
Lomantang stick fighting is a little like a Berolidin addiction. I've been
Dad's fighting with sticks every night after dinner for 4 hours.
That's right, Mikhail. It also has a meditative quality, helps to clear my head. But anyway, no, thanks to you for having me and little Mikhail here to pick your brain.
Pick your brain? If anything, this was rather once... You see, a once bright mural towering above a slogan used to intertwine with the loops a long time ago.
Looks like tomorrow never came.
Above the mural, a collapsed roof, broken windows set in walls that are cracking and will soon also fall. Feld Electrical. How ironic. Feld Electrical. You only know them as a small company.
In there? She could. Or she could be in the identical room over there. Or in the...
Why single out this one building? once bright mural towers above you, saying, Feld Electrical, R&D. Tomorrow is just a whisper away. Someone has left an unidentifiable article of clothing on this railing. It's streaked with dried seagull shit and tangled with pieces. It seems likely that it was left in the surf until someone laid it out on this fence to dry out. Unfortunately,
Please tell me you're not taking that with you. I'm sure he'll be thrilled to have it returned.
as you hold it in your hands, it makes an uncomfortable crunching sound. It's a sordid, filthy tale, not for the weak. Some secrets are better left uncovered. Don't even try. Seriously. It occurs to you that you're not even holding. It smells like a dead sea creature, tangled in grey strands of seaweed. Somehow, it was carried or dragged to the boardwalk. If not by human hand, the faint impressions of many footprints are also present, though it's impossible to tell what kind or how many. Suffice to say, why did you think about it? Look at your hands. They're covered in muck. What? No. Then it'll just be on your pants. A metal payphone under a yellow plastic dome. You hear the tone. The machine is inoperable. Calling. Still end of tone.
Pierre, is that you, Pierre? So nice of you to find the time to call me. It gets so lonely. Even the animals have died. Are you sure you're Pierre?
Her voice is drowned in white noise. Sounds like wait. Calling. Someone.
Hello, Gerard speaking.
Hello, Gerard. Technically speaking, no. What you are is a surprise. Get his wife on the phone.
No, but I got a feeling I'll kick your ass is gonna make an appearance if you ever call this number again. Have a good one, S.
Phone hanging up. Disconnect tone. Still,
Stop calling me, man. I'll get you your money, alright? I just need till tonight. Let me work. Testis. Hey! You're...
disconnect. Heavy wooden doors, more than twice your height, stand shut in front of you. The rectangular sea-worn ornamentation appears in stark contrast to the padlock, carelessly drilled. The carving on the door is block-like and angular, like the church itself. Two large beams shoot downwards. The surface is smooth from the wind, feels exceptional. 300 tons of pine would fit together seamlessly. It's old too. Cut and the carving on the door. The doors remain unchanged, closed, with a padlock. Nothing happens, only the...
I don't think that's going... Do you think our suspect is hiding inside?
The lieutenant nods, silently. This cheap-looking padlock is sturdily built. It shackles together a hasp and a staple. It'll be easier to break the staple than the lock. Also, that sticker is interesting, somehow. You see a yellow circle with two X's and a big curve below them that looks like a mouth. You're pretty sure you haven't seen it before, but what the symbol depicts is clear enough. There is something blindingly modern about this symbol. Its modernness puts to shame everything you've seen before. It's the contrast between the cheery, chemical yellow and the rigor mortis. As if the cheery guy didn't know he was dead, or the dead guy didn't care that he was. Either way, you get the sense the forces of future are... He takes off his glasses and uses a blue...
No. Looks like a dead man smiling. Suggests junior delinquency. For Revachol Z aussi, the moral intern defined junior delinquents as minors between the ages of 10 and 16 who have committed... These acts aren't called crimes as they would be for adults. Crimes committed by minors are called delinquent acts. This was part of your officer's exams. I haven't seen that sticker before, and I'm not a youth. That level of conceptual thinking is not part of my skill set.
The padlock passes through a staple that's been hastily attached to the wood. Closer inspection reveals that one of the screws is not a screw at all, but a nail. The work has been done. Should you want to get through, it might be easier to just pry the whole thing off. This cheap-looking padlock is sturdily built. It'll be easier to break the staple than the lock. Also, that sticker is interesting, somehow.
If you really think we should get in there, we need to find some other way. Yes, the pulsing base. An indication of junior delinquency.
Heavy wooden doors, more than twice your height, stand shut. There's nothing like the sound of a sticker unpeeling. Now it's stuck to your thumb. Looks like today was a gold star day. twice your height stands shut in front of you. Heavy wooden doors, more than twice your height, stand shut in front of you. A minute or so of mauling away at the lock has led to no success.
I'm not as sturdy as you are.
The doors remain unchanged. Heavy wooden doors, more than twice your height, stand. You jam the pry bar between the lock and the staple and apply the pathetic old wood, rusty screws, and one nail. Stand no chance. Suddenly, the pry bar snaps. Metal shavings fly everywhere. The upper half, between the lock and the staple, falls to the ground with a thunk. The broken edge of the snapped pry bar is smooth. Took the tip right off.
Tools break, officer. Try to control yourself. I don't know. You don't? Or maybe we'll find a new one. I don't carry more than one pry bar. I thought this was a lousy way to enter a place of worship that's already in disrepair.
This was surely just a freak accident. Heavy wooden doors, more than twice your height, stand shut in front of you. A shaggy-looking girl in her late teens or early 20s kneels.
Oh, hello there. Huh?
Maybe she didn't hear you.
So should you. Oh, I didn't notice that. Yeah, well... Look, man, fuck the hat.
Lots of feeling. Feel it up. You're saying it really loud, but it's not coming out right. Maybe more. More.
I didn't mean to.
The lieutenant is watching the scene unfold before his eyes, unsure how to The girl looks down, slowly curling into a ball. The words are stuck in your throat. Looking up, she sees a grown man on the wrong side of 40. His face...
This isn't really about the hat, is it?
I swear to God, I will always wear a hat from now on. Wait, you know, you're not the only one with issues. I self-medicate. Crying helps though. Get it out your system, and then maybe we can talk, okay?
Shaggy.
Oh. Hello there. Huh?
Maybe she didn't hear you.
So should you. Oh. I didn't notice that. Sorry, man. My mind was elsewhere. Shoot. No.
Just no?
It's pretty desolate here. I only hear the dogs bark at night and see the shadows move
Oi,
down
mozão. Fiquei
Teenagers
concentrado nisto.
gang members looking for a hole in the Union's defenses. Maybe Ruby too, but she wouldn't be able to tell from here.
a cell.
Her hair is dyed blonde, with dark roots showing. There's a coarseness to her features, some masculinity below that timidness.
Why? Okay, it's Burger.
A very common name.
This is a portable recording device. It's for field recording. Actually, just one wire. I picked on it till the braiding came loose. The wire leads to a contact microphone. A contact mic records sounds from inside things, like...
Your mangled brain would like you to know there is a boxer called Contact Mike. No, you're welcome.
Yeah, I record stuff with it. No. This is a contact microphone. It's for recording inside a solid...
That's not fair. And an understatement. An entire litany spews forth.
Yes? The mic? I don't exactly know. Somehow it doesn't pick up vibrations from the air. The book said it only picks up structure-borne sound, if you like technobabble. Same place I got the recorder from, the Palaceum. Oh man, you haven't been to the Palaceum? It's the coolest place. It's a music club and a synthesizer workshop on Boogie Street in Jamrock. Musicians live there, like real musicians. I once saw... Oh yeah, guess you wouldn't know Van Eyck. Or really be a Palaceum going kind of...
Hey, didn't Piss and Fuck the World mention Van Eyck too?
A skull thing? Man, you sound like...
No, you don't. She's mistaken you for an old person. Say you're cool.
I don't know what that means. I don't know what that means either. That's cool. Sucks, man. Was there something else? About the contact mic, perhaps? Okay. Recording, I guess. I think I'm recording cracks in the ice. But there's no way to tell. Not without headphones.
What happened to the old headphones?
My boyfriend sold them. I don't know, man. Things. Just...
A lie. They were probably pawned off for something suspicious.
The musicians in the Palaceum used them for making music. They looped the stuff, cutting the tapes together. They make music out of cracks. Anyway, I thought I'd make some too. It's supposed to be, like, a music place anyway. I don't really know what I'm doing. They use synthesizers.
The sharp drop in endorphins is almost visible, like a warm blanket has fallen off her shoulders. The wave of...
Take this, you're called.
No, man, fuck that, I'm cool. I'm sorry I said that. I'm sorry about the fuck.
It's okay.
Yeah, maybe you were right about the hat. That? The boys think it could be a place, like the Palaceum or something. Stupid. It's really not gonna be a palace.
And who are these boys?
Yeah, Andre and the guys.
And why is that?
They got too much stuff crammed in there. No room. Music stuff mostly. Like this tape recorder, but bigger. And there's piles of it. Yep, they were pretty. I'm sorry, that stuff is more expensive than I am. More expensive than any of us, really.
It's probably amphetamine. It makes you feel impervious to the elements, but doesn't actually make you any less cold.
I got my recordings to do. I feel better outside. Go ahead. It's supposed... Except that... Yeah. No, not really.
She's trying to get out of a direct lie with semantic tricks. She personally didn't put the padlock on the door.
Yeah, you know, that's what I meant. Noid did. Noid put the padlock on the door. To keep more weirdos from getting in. Fucking Martinez. I'm sorry. It's got the worst weirdos. If you get around to it, ask Andre about him, he'll tell ya. No, not really.
She's trying to get out of a
It's Noids. Yeah, I guess you could say that. To keep more weirdos from getting in. Fucking Martinez. I know. It's not my idea. Andre and the boys found the place. It was supposed to be... Hey, don't get me wrong, but you're cops, right? Okay, well... Maybe you could talk to Andre and the guys. Because there are some strange things going on in that church. If you're police, you should look into it, right? They're inside that thing there. Would be cool if you did. Was there something else? You know, anodic, cathodic, music that's made with electronic instruments. Synthesizers and tape consoles. Microcomputers too.
This is an evolutionary step up from amplified instruments, which in turn are a step up from acoustic.
You know, anodic, cathodic, music that's made with... What do you need to know? Go ahead. Okay, bye.
A pane of Eternite has been planted into barely holding it up. It could fall over any minute. A stronger gust of wind might be...
It looks like a makeshift bridge. Could be convenient.
The pane falls into the icy snow with a soft thunk. The tent is just tarpaulin fabric covering a pile of stuff. The flap is open. Inside...
Come on! Get in and close the flap behind you. The warm stuff's getting out. Sorry, we barely have room for one.
You go ahead.
I'm actually not, he thinks. I just dislike...
I'm sure you will feel right at home. I'll keep...
You see a youngish man bleaching the tips of his hair with a toothbrush.
Hello, I'm Andre.
There is definitely something futuristic about his hair. Imbecilic. Yes, should the future ever come, it will look deeply imbecilic. His grip is strong, sweaty, and warm.
This is my posse. Noid.
The young man with earrings looks at you, suspicious.
And Egghead. Egg! Together with a Settle Burger, who's out there right now, doing some seriously progressive sonic experimentation, we like to think of ourselves as music venue organisers. We have many in the pipeline, officer.
That means they haven't set up.
You see, we've been all over Jamrock North, prospecting for real estate to establish a new venue in.
Honest off for talent.
Yeah, thank you, Egghead. And while there is no shortage of raw, unfettered talent spinning tapes in Jamrock, we've had rotten luck with the real estate pub.
Place is a shithole.
I apologise for my friend Noid's potty mouth. I realise this is not how you speak to a police officer. He has authority issues. Which brings me to the problem of occupied ecclesiastical property. I bet you've noticed the derelict hive of narcomania on the coast. I'm talking about the church. And I'm not exaggerating. Even a place of spiritual refuge can become a magnet.
Dogheads! Burnouts!
Well, I'm sad to say, that's exactly what happened. Sad because we were just about to put Martinez on the map with one of the maddest dance clubs in Jack.
Strike that!
And sadder yet, because the dopeheads and burnouts holed up in there were the worst.
He leans back a little, watching you with a steady, serious gaze, letting you imagine. Good. This calls for an opinion. You're an expert in those.
The spooky kind. I was hoping you would be the judge of that, officer. All I can say is, their spookiness is the kind that keeps us from restoring this church into...
Also, they don't eat or clean the building. Shit's gonna... People just wanna spin tapes without them spooking it up. Place has bad signs.
No, thank you, Egg. So you're gonna look into it, right? It should be a police matter. Getting them out. Whatever spooky stuff they're doing, I'm sure it's not what the Ecclesiastes meant their property for. All right, man. Oh, so you met her? I did ask Noid to install a measure against more drifters wandering in. It's a temporary...
I had to do it in an hurry. Not my best work, but it should hold for a while.
Not long. Like a week, maybe? I'm super sure they're alive. I mean, come on.
Somewhere in the ruinous past that led you here, there was something called exams. You may have learned the term involuntary manslaughter there.
Yes, I do. I listen to Channel 8 all the time. I know about crime stuff, and I assure you, officer, this is not what's happening here. I'm at least 80% sure they're alive. I mean, I knew you'd get it. You're one smart cop.
He nods attentively.
Of course. Not
all right.
You sense the trajectory of the little piece of metal and plastic. The ka-ching! The key hits your palm. The speed freaks nod to you approvingly. The speed freak nods to you.
Sure, man. Tell us what you want to know. Let's do it. Truth is, I don't really know. None of us do. I don't even know how many there are. All we've seen are glimpses. Yes, there's also the... When I first scouted the place, back in February, it was abandoned, empty. Took some time getting the crew together.
So about one of them has wires running into bowls of water. Wires.
Andre!
Oh, and it felt like there was something in there with...
No!
Which other one?
I felt like silence. Awful silence.
Not exactly. We've just seen someone who we think is a woman go in and out of the church. A couple of times. And we felt someone or something. Sure, why not?
But not really. Brown hair. Old. Heavy.
What Noid said.
So brown and older, Ruby might have dyed her hair, though it seems like a stretch at this point.
Like you aren't alone.
It wasn't quite you.
Not human, as in a...
It was this dark shape climbing upside down. Yeah, you know, the way it was climbing up and around the ceiling.
It was stalking a cell, exhibiting...
Odd. Crabs are usually marine creatures, and not known for climbing walls.
Yeah, totally. I mean, I didn't personally see it. Estelle was alone that time, but I believe her. If she...
So he hasn't even been in there lately.
We should ask her about it, but be nice. Don't tell her you don't...
There probably is no crab man. Don't let them draw you in with this nonsense.
You should talk to Noid about that. I just got a distinct burnout and dopehead sign. Well, honestly.
This is a below feeble attempt at avoidance. Basically, he is attempting to weaponize idiocy.
I'm 70% sure they're substance users. Don't let the technology fool you. Sure. What? Oh yeah, that's a meteor and name for the founding party.
If you don't know what the founding party is, there might be a way to mask it with minor demagoguery.
Come to think of it, I've never really looked them up, you know. I can't give you a precise definition, and they have roots in ancient mass society. And they're the custodians of the Pericarnassian church. Plus, they anoint the innocents. They totally.
The Pericarnassian church is about love. And Nordic music is about love. Love is hot.
Unity. Unity.
Make some noise for my Insulindian posse.
You feel it. The anodes and the cathodes coursing through you. Your big toe starts tapping along to the base, as if testing the waters. Feels good.
Oh yeah, he's coming around. You're getting it.
Your posse's like your people, man.
And where is your posse, detective? Nothing comes to you. The world is silent.
Yeah!
Do it for the masses. Do it for the crew.
I didn't want to say it, but it was pretty lame of you to
The one with the large head is still looking at you. You feel like you could go for a little disco when, or if, they get this club going. You've got it in you.
Yes. What? Yeah, good to have, bitch to carry. When I first scouted the place, I did some reconnaissance. I'm not sure the church... oh. It's the one they sell at the fuel station.
It's like he's lying to you, my liege. But he's slippery enough that there's nothing for you to grab hold of.
It does, doesn't it? Told you we have a smell problem.
Ether? I don't smell ether.
No.
He sniffs the air. It doesn't take a forensic scientist to guess it's drug-related. They look unlike the girl outside, however. The boy's breathing is regular. Their jaws stay put and their pupils, at least, not under the influence of stimulants. That doesn't rule out hallucinogens, benzos, some depressants.
The what now? Oh, the old...
He's like an actor, looking to the soup.
I have a major sinus infection, stuffy nose. We all do. Shit's all Yes, that's all Nosafed's doing. Without the noser, I'd...
Nosafed is the shit.
Yes. What?
He nods enthusiastically, no doubt a little relieved.
As always, we'll be right here. Hi again. So, how are things going?
A number of things don't. How about gather around, kids? The young speed freak puts down the one with the large head. Seeing their would-be leader is less amused.
But you still are.
What happened? I've been trying to say we need the next step in...
Shut it!
What? I have! I've said that!
The young speed freak is silent.
We don't need drugs to...
Shut the fuck up, Egg!
Climb down from the equestrian monument, cop man. Consciousness is new to the universe.
We know she has a problem, man. We're working on it. She didn't exactly have a smooth adolescence. What exactly is it you know?
I have no idea how you arrived at that conclusion, but it's wrong. Look.
One speaker. They have one speaker.
What do you mean, friend? It's a one-speaker system. It's monodynamic. You wouldn't know the first thing about sound.
This may be the brain damage talking, but you've definitely never heard of monodynamic or...
What do you know about spinning tape? Nothing. I'm sorry, but there is no lab equipment and no drug ingredients.
He said it was for his nose.
Likely pseudoephedrine. Almost exactly the shape of ephedrine. Ephedrine makes you happy, and so does pseudoephedrine.
And of all cellular-based life, what's your point, Lawbringer?
Make up your mind. First it's the sweat, then it's the ether. No shit. That's... Come on, that's... I meant to say, not true. That's... I meant to say, no, that's... It's not! What do you mean, do? What do you mean by lenient? Okay, man, okay. Things are just so hard for an entrepreneur in this city right now. It's not like we lied when we said we want to turn a church into the wickedest club in East Revershoal.
Because we do!
We just need to turn it into a speed lab before...
To get our foot in the door.
Like I told you, spooky arseholes moved in while I was getting all this stuff together. A month ago, the place was empty. And no, man, they're spooky all right. It's just that they would also probably call the police if we started...
But the sign was way off too.
I could... Sir, you promised you'd be lenient. We can continue on an amiable path, right? No more misunderstandings, no more lies. Before you go, is there anything else you need? Yes. What?
He nods enthusiastically.
Oh, yeah.
If you don't know what the founding party is, there might be a way to mask it with minor demagogue.
Come to think of it, I've never really looked them up, you know? Yes. As always...
The shaggy-haired girl kneels on the...
So you talked to my associates, right? Are you going to help us? With the church? Shoot. My associates? I haven't got much to say about them. Of course I do. I just don't tell people about my friends and...
To the cops.
Me?
A silver bird feels strangely familiar. Was it an expression? And
Don't know what makes you think it'll be any different later, but... Oh, that. You're not...
She's less prone to blurt it out, crab man, than the others.
Okay. I went in and I saw a woman next to one of those machines there. She was dressed like someone who's been raised by their grandmother, you know, strange old clothes. Had this absent expression, didn't say anything, just... And then, you know, right behind her, a man crawled down the wall. Upside down like a crab, down the church wall. I think the woman didn't even know. He stopped right before he got to the floor, then just hung there like that, looking at me. Right at me.
Like a crab, you say?
It was too dark.
Come on, she obviously could. She already went into detail.
He looked like a banger, okay? He was all muscular and stuff. Had a mesh tank top.
A crab and a banger?
Yes, a banger. As in a mess gang member. I know what it sounds like, but that's what I saw. Why? Nothing. Anyway, what else? I did, and I'm sorry. For what it's worth. Which isn't much.
This is why I didn't go into the tent. Typical delinquency.
You don't get to choose your posse, they choose you. Mine are idiots, but they're mine. I tried to talk Andre out of it.
Indeed, she merely tried to omit the truth instead.
I know, but I knew you'd see through their plan too. I'm not an idiot. I should have been able to control them. May I ask? What did you tell them? Oh, right. That's wise. Take your time.
Graças meu, este jogo tem tanta coisa, foda-se. Um gajo está sempre a pensar em alguma merda. Isto nunca. Jesus.
Heavy wooden doors, more than the lock turns easily.
Let's go.
A great whoosh of air rushes into the dark inner in the heart of the The silence in this part of the church, it's almost palpable. All the shifting matter and shuffling of living things is... Maybe if you were to stand in just the right spot, even your footsteps would be... And then it's gone. Almost it seems the sound here is detached from its source somehow. If not blotted out, you can hardly hear your own breathing. You produce a few muffled thumps, after which the silence feels... Your voice is barely audible. Not a... The lieutenant points to his ears and shakes his head.
Can you hear anything? I wonder why the church was built...
Maybe the church was designed this way to prevent boisterous activity, singing and dancing on its premises. He doesn't seem entirely convinced, though. The lieutenant...
Can you hear anything? The church just has...
Maybe the church was designed this way to prevent boisterous...
Please, detective, not this again.
The lieutenant...
Can you hear anything? The church...
Maybe the church was designed this way to prevent... The lieutenant doesn't reply, but you can sense him. The orderly rows of ceiling panels become barely visible, then disappear completely in the darkness of the tower overhead. It's like there's something moving up there. A shadow has emerged from the tower and it's making its way toward you through all the other shadows. Yes, the darkness makes the ceiling feel infinitely far away. It's not a shadow anymore, becoming more substantial.
Officer, is there something up there?
You've lost sight of it.
Oh
You see
shit, what the
something
fuck?
hanging from the rafters, looking straight at you. Maybe it's possible to talk to it. The shadow is a man made of the crab man. The man leaned forward a little, fixing you with a
Habitual alcohol use has made you into a scared little pussy, Holmes. But don't worry, everything's gonna be alright.
That accent is Villalobos, a peninsula in Mesk and a district in general. There's a sizable contingent.
Here you can receive the mother's love. And when you're ready, she will take your hand and lift you out of the despair at the bottom.
This man is obviously a habitual narcotics user.
Hey, and what was that about? The bottle again? You haven't even drank that much lately. Lay off it already. Sheesh.
Está crudo, way. I see deep inside you. Your body and your spirit are suffering greatly from overindulgence. And you don't even know it. Not all of it. I was like you once. You don't know all the havoc El Vino is wrecking on your mind and your spirit. Necesita parar, homie.
You know, actually, since we're here, you may want to pay attention to what the ceiling climber is saying.
Don't trust me. Trust the mother. I'm only the messenger, Holmes. This is the Church of the Mother of Silence. You are welcome here.
You have no idea what the fuck whatever it is, he's quite confident about it. 'Tis not an act, my liege, save him perchance he hath deceived his very self. This man is a zealot.
Never known myself to be a crab, but if that's the name you got for me, I won't stop you from using it. I always thought of myself more like a flame, flickering.
That's not the only technique he's working on. Look at those carved sculptures. And is that a...
Sure am. Whittling wood used to be something I just did. Now I use those same hands in service.
All right, let's consider the context and meaning here.
It's all just for the mother, man. No need to. I was in a gangway, but my memories of that time are fading. Most of them are already gone. That's not really the point, I say. You gotta give yourself.
Do you remember your names?
Tiago's my name, but those syllables don't mean much to me these days. Your place amongst your fellas. Your place in the world. I ain't got no use for such a place anymore. That's just the thing, Holmes. None of that matters. This is a special place. There's a perforation in the world up there. A way out into nothingness. I circled it, nurtured by the silence bestowed by the mother. One of these days, I'll be... Oh, that's no simple question. She is a cavity in the dark, beyond sense. She saved me, but I couldn't describe her to you. No one can, Holmes. I will be incinerated, but not destroyed. Finally, I won with the state of the world before reality.
That sounds a bit like substitution behavior, no? You know a thing or two about that.
It's not like that at all, man. It's just faith and joyful service.
Too gleeful, those words. He is lying. Not to you, to his very own...
I heard that before, Way. and I know I can't convince you on the spot. But think, when's the last time you woke up from silent communion with a hangover, regretting what you did last night? She took you for a good spin, huh? Don't worry, bro. That love is the mother will eat all of you and never spit you out. I know it will take time. Don't sweat it. I'm a seraph, Holmes. I sing the mother's glory. I ain't from no Marietti, if that's what you're thinking.
Marietti is a mesque style of music and dance. He lost his cool there for a moment. Seems you hit some nerve.
I'm a seraph, Holmes. I don't mean literal singing, Holmes. You may be thinking, but fire crackles. No, Holmes. That's the material that's burning. I'm a seraph, Holmes. You may be thinking, but fire. Hard to say. I think I did some construction work here, back when I still had material worries. Up there, I realized what the true purpose of the church was. Been spending a lot of time here ever since. The past is nothing to me now, way. It didn't belong to me.
The sinewy figure lingers on the wooden beams, blending into the shadows.
Police raid a while back.
Did you witness it?
Not really, or at least I don't remember much of it anymore. The mother's love has done its job. That's what's so great about the mother. It lets you forget about everything.
It looks like he truly doesn't remember. There's a vagueness to his sense of time.
The ones in the tent outside, right? I see them. Guessing they're the ones who call me a crab. Probably scared of me. Nah, man. They look pretty funny. And I don't harm no one anymore. Anyway. Why not? They wouldn't bother me none. I'm usually way up there, imbibing. Ain't no music on earth that can might even be nice to have some company. The ones in the tent outside, right? I see them. Guessing they're the ones who call me a crab. Wouldn't bother me none to have them spin music in here. Might even be nice to have some company. Other spooker? Oh, esa viejita es muy...
Viejita is grandma?
No, I just call her viejita because of her clothes. She's actually quite young. Or maybe not that young.
Wait, what if it's...
Did it ever seem to you like she was hiding here from something?
You mean like a fugitive? No, man. Quite the opposite. I don't think she cared much about authority or...
I see. And where is she now?
I told you, Holmes. I don't know. Don't really follow her comings and goings. Just see her typing on her computer now and then. We got different interests. I'm afraid not, Essay. You just have to wait until she...
Or search through her radio computer. A machine stands in the corner, watched over by the figures on the stained glass.
Another radio computer. And this time it's already turned on. We should leave. I doubt this place bears any connection to the case. It's also quite similar to the one we have down at the station.
The one you saw earlier was the Ream Civic. This is the Ream Prefect, a model number RC7's the Ream Prefect is the governmental version of the commonly used Ream Civic model. Although mostly you see fluorescent play and print buttons on the keyboard, the lieutenant says nothing. You see the behind the hatch sits a cube-like crisscross of filaments, smoldering in the dark. Another filament memory. Press play to talk with the repeater. The speaker comes to life. Static seeps.
Good afternoon. Votre accident on Saint-Brune. This is the East Insulindian repeater station.
It's the same old woman you spoke with through the radio computer in the doomed commercial area.
Good, thank you. Please repeat. Is this the personal log? I have 2 machines registered to this company name in
Saint-Brune. That's the church. And Rue de Saint-Guylaine?
Anything else I can help you with? Good. Please.
Let's look around. There's no... Maybe he knows something.
No.
A hint system is not part of the protocol for repeaters.
Received. Votre accident. Is there anything else I can do for you? Goodbye.
The machine's keyboard is still... Nothing happens.
Oh, hey, wait. There's coffee in the back. Oh, wait. I meant the mother's love.
Coffee in the back. Something familiar about that. Coffee and stale cookies.
Look, man. I'm at liberty to talk about the sacred blaze of the mother's glorious heart, but not about the coffee. Too many times, essay.
Surveys are a good way to fish for personal information, especially in the name of public.
Don't sweat it, vato. The password is afterlife death. What you think of that? Makes me almost pity La Nilita. I think we're done here, essay.
That was, however, I'm still not sure whether we...
Foda-se, nós estamos aqui há bué de tempo e ainda nem sequer acabamos esta cena, meu. Esta área é mesmo gigantesca.
The machine's keyboard is the speaker.
Good afternoon. Votre good. Please repeat the past good. I have unlocked the filament. After ending the call, please. Votre accident. Is there anything else I can do for you today? Goodbye.
The machine's keyboard is still illuminated. The printer prints out a long text document with dated paragraphs. It looks a bit like the first entry made on the 4th of February. Arrived at the church. The door was boarded up, so I used the crowbar to get inside. Looks like the place has been deserted. The lieutenant leans closer, scouring the printout over your shoulder. Just as you finish reading, he looks up.
4th of February. That's over a month ago. Whoever set up those machines has been here for quite a while. Our case? No, I don't think so. It must be some local eccentric.
6th of February, 51. Had a little chat with the local fishermen. Said I shouldn't go near that place, that the church was spooky and ridden with narcotics. It's a little spooky, all right. Still haven't figured out. 7th of February, 51. Finally got the electricity in. Next on the agenda, a new antenna. I'm thinking Eska series.
Why would anyone need any of this equipment here?
For setting up a radio computer. 8th of February, 51. Bought the antenna. Had some problems setting it up. Called Simo for help. Heard the others are back to making art. Drinking somewhere out of town. Sulislav started a rock band again. Lexi has been seen asking money from strangers, but at least the artists have their act together. They're qualified labor. They can get work anywhere. Graphic design, ads. The programmers are doing fine too. I mean, their program. I just have to find out what caused that data loss and be done with it. Still don't understand how it managed to wipe out the backup, when the backup wasn't even connected to the front. I know. Everyone thinks it's impossible. They say I must be lying. I'm here to set it right.
Seems like something to do with radio computers. Unfortunately, I don't know enough. Something about the backup data getting destroyed, and how everyone thought it was the author's fault. Let's just keep reading. I think these people worked in the radio computer games business, the one we saw in the Doom commercial area.
12th of February, 51. Brought some food from the grocery store. Apparently, there's a strike going on in the harbor. Definitely not happy to see the Martinez people again. Everything's now set up in the church.
The strike. We are nearing the date of the... Keep reading. I'm interested now. I want to know what's that radio anomaly that sent this person...
25th of February, 51. I've been sending data up to Lintel for a while now, trying to recreate the data loss, but nothing. Didn't even feel like logging in, the disappointment. But I did discover a curious audio-spatial anomaly at the back of the...
Is she talking about?
28th of February, 51. Yes, the first recordings confirm that the swallow is real and I'm not just losing my mind. It's a pillar of silence with a diameter of approximately 3 meters. Seems like the higher I go, the less I record. This might be a coincidence, or it could be connected.
The pillar of silence. She is talking about the silence. Is she suggesting it's more than just an architectural quirk?
The lieutenant doesn't answer. He follows your gaze, studying the base. March 51. Some kind of young disco men have appeared next to the church. I've been trying to record the silence to find the epicenter, but now it turns out I've also been capturing the future of dance music. One neo-disco song. Fortunately, the song is so monotonous, I was able to devise an algorithm to factor it out. The other day, one of the disco men came in. Before I could even say, that disco man must be a cell.
The girl on the ice?
March 51. I got a call from the repeater station. Someone has tried to access the radio computer in our old office in Martinez. Can't do anything about it. The storekeeper still doesn't want to let me inside the building. Thinks I'm part of some kind of...
I knew it wasn't a good idea to make...
No. It was a great idea. You're learning March 51. A new 2-meter aux cable. Noodles. Your reading is interrupted by the sound. A strange woman makes straight for the radio computer.
Breaking into my radio computer, I see.
Yes, you are breaking in.
I do apologize for the intrusion, madame. We are with the RCM, you see.
There are no coalition military data links. And even if there was, you couldn't access them over a civilian network. No one's hiding here. It's just me and my computer, and it has been this way for weeks. Now please give me some room.
We should talk to her after she has rebooted.
Caraças. Só um minuto. Venho já. Sorry about that. Bora lá. Vamos continuar.
What is it? No, you just printed out my personal log and wasted some paper. Yes. Or no. Not anymore. That project is dead. I am Soona Luukkanen-Kilde, the former lead programmer of Fortress Accident and RSA radios. I have over 16 years of programming experience, and I'm proficient in both Vox and Orbis language. If you're not here to hire me, I don't really know how I can help you.
Did she say over 16 years of experience. That still doesn't answer what she's doing in an abandoned church.
Nope. Yes. And? No, you're right. I'm not. What? No.
She has not seen her, sire. Tis
I brought them here. These are my machines. Please don't touch anything. I use the AR-1 as my RAIN prefix processing unit. Mm-hmm. Yes? You really don't know anything about radio computers, do you? All right. Well, all radio computers perform operations up on air. So in order to gain more processing power, you need to invest in a good and on the front. The unified front of radio waves. Lies, it's all around us.
like love.
I guess it is. So far I've been quite satisfied with it. Martinez is an unstable region with bad coverage and the operation has been surprisingly stable. But it's not the cheapest one on the market. So I wouldn't recommend it for your regular red tape operations. Anyway, you should do some research before you decide to buy anything. Ask around, compare the prices. There are many milieus dedicated to that sort of thing. I'm working.
The machine seems almost alien with its pulsing core.
Could you just shh for a moment? Or get to the point. I really need to focus on something. So you do know something about computers. You're right. Prefect is used mostly by the government peeps. No, I don't. Because I needed something good for my investigation and RAIM Civic is widely agreed to be below all standards. Besides, owning a RAIM prefect...
No, actually, it is kind of a big deal. You don't see REAM prefects in every police department, for example.
I know a friend of a friend who used to freelance for the Coalition. I was actually aiming for the military-grade RAIM Rational. Prefect is mainly based on the same technology as RAIM Civic. So it's kind of a rip-off. But it does have better compatibility with newer... They are connected to my RAIM prefect. Whatever you do, just please...
Short and terse. There you have it. Whatever she's using them for, they're hers.
Great. You really like those questions, don't you? No, I'm not. It's just me and the crab man. I'm just doing some research. That's all. I'm looking for the location of a 2mm hole in the world.
Wait. She's looking for a disruption in the radio waves. The lieutenant raises his brows, but doesn't say anything.
Yes, that's what led me here. But I suspect it might be something a bit more complicated than that. Exactly. What does it mean? Up to now, it has been impossible to say what it is because it's impossible to measure nothing. What do you think it is? What qualities does nothing have? How do you measure something that does not exist?
Easy. You measure it by the world around it.
Exactly. Very true. That's what I've been aiming for. That's why I have those basins. I've tried using hydro transducers to record the silence. To find out where it begins.
Ah, hydro transducers. So that's what those water basins are.
But honestly, it's not progressing very well. Somewhere underneath those roof beams, I assume.
Only a faint crisscross of rafters can be made out from the dark. Most of the tower.
There's this place at the back of the church. A place where all audible vibrations seem to decease. I've named it the Swallow. And
the Pillar of Silence? Are you sure it's not just an architectural quirk?
Maybe, but it's oddly close to the physical coordinates of the data loss that led me to this place. I know. No, I don't. Because it's just trial and error, trying to locate the Swallow, the exact point. And I don't have a... You know what? It would be really helpful if you could just stop talking and let me work. Great. Thanks. The swallow, you mean? Great. Thanks. What? I hate it.
I bet she hasn't even heard it.
Yeah. Like all the time. My tent neighbors don't maybe I'd have to be on drugs to get it, but to a sober mind it just sounds like uninspired rug whipping. No idea what it has to do with either dancing. This is about those speed freaks in the tent, isn't it? I've got some news for you. Take a guess, why don't you? Bingo!
Wonderful. Now this house of worship is also going to be a drug lab. Always something fascinating happening in tents.
So that's settled. Great. No nightclubs in the church then. Do I look like someone who has time for side projects at...
If you want her help, maybe you should help her first. In white, silver, and apricot faience, the young mother of humanism stands above you. This is her innocence. Cradled in her arms are a pair of glowing lungs, clearly visible from underneath her flowing dress. You should kneel. Your knees touch the floor. The floorboards are hard and cold. There you kneel among the snowdrifts, diffuse light falling on your hands from beyond the glass. The world is silent, but for the creaks and cracks of the massive wooden structure behind. The ocean feels distant, its ebb and flow blocked off by the centuries-old pinewood sarcophagus around you. The woman looks down at you kneeling. She towers among her followers, architects, laymen, courtiers. She acknowledges the passing of someone who is still alive. As that terrible word passes through your mind, the lieutenant draws an X-shaped cross from shoulder to shoulder. Your fingertips touch your chest 4 times. Then you rise from your knees into the apricot-colored light of the window. Above you, the woman still smiles her distant smile, sundered by the crack in the glass.
The old woman in the village was right. This must be the DeLorean Church of Humanity in Martinez, or the small Pinewood Church in some records. It's a minor landmark, not easy to find. Most maps misplace it. It was built not long after Revachol's farm.
On the coast of an uninhabited archipelago, where only animals had roamed before.
There used to be 7 stave churches on the coast. Les Sept Sœurs, they call them. The 7 Sisters. Only one remains. The rest were burnt in the revolution or used for building materials. We should be respectful here, although the building appears to be deserted. I do not believe we'll find the instigator here.
Respectful? Is the lieutenant a follower of DeLoreanism?
Yes, we all are. Her name, body, and rule are synonymous with humanism. The laws we enforce are DeLorean in origin.
The woman looks by in silence, smiling enigmatically.
It's not spiritual, it's constitutional. The DeLorean system does not demand faith, only accordance.
Apricot chewing gum scented one. August 2nd, early late summer. You're getting off the streetcar in Le Jardin, east of the river. Her Elysium stands above you, a precious. Despite the damage you've done to yourself, the title appears lodged in your hippocampus. This is Her Innocence, Dolores Day. The innocent. No amount of Commodore Red can wipe her sad smile from your brain thing. It has survived the deluge and haunts you still. The highest category of historic individual, an embodiment of the world more. An innocence is elected to office by the founding party, a precedent that has taken place a mere 6 times in the entirety of history. The legal system of the Real Belt is built to accommodate innocent rule. Should an innocence is infallible, the decisions made by one are not decisions. They are inevitabilities. What would have happened anyway? Only accelerated, packed into decades instead of centuries. An innocence is a continuous, compressed event, a sacred human being. It is an honor and a glory to live when one is in office. No, we are alone. 300 years ago, in the wake of the discovery of this Isola, the Insulindian, by explorers from the continent of Muindi, she is, among other things, the innocence of inter-isolary travel and the connected world. Many things, you know she was a woman of the court, the wife of an influential Marchese, and eventually the principal advisor to Irene la Navigateur, Queen of Suresnes, modern-day Sir Laclais. Also, terribly, women of the court were expected to play both contract bridge and chess sufficiently well to prove an interesting challenge to a man. A simple grasp in matters of philosophy, theology, and science, she made the most of her position in the antediluvian court, a court visited by the most prominent thinkers and artists of the day. In secret, she was an almost preternaturally magnetic and intelligent individual. To her contemporaries, she appeared out of time, a messenger from the future of the species. We all fell in love with her, head over heel. It was on her advice that Irene la Navigateur sponsored a number of voyages into the Pale. A costly, often tragic, she was crowned 2 years after the first expedition returned, setting in wow indeed. When her innocence was declared, and the queen she had advised for years fell on her knees before her, she was so overcome with emotion that her lungs started glowing. Bystanders reported golden filaments lighting the already sunlit chamber around her, clearly visible beneath her dress. That is why the lungs are the symbol of love for the cultures of the Real Belt. As did we all. The lands of the Mesk and the Occident, and even far away Supra-Muindi. Altogether, 21 of the 40 mundial nations of the time immediately accepted Innocentic rule. Even in a city called Advesperaskit in Vespa Messina, her homeland, the name of the city means evening comes, but it happened on a winter's morning. With the canals, she was dressed in a white and pearl dress on an emptied out plaza with the crowd far away. Already her Theriers, the secret servicemen of the Innocents, were worried about an assassination attempt. Oh yes, she looked like humanity's young mother, a perfect mother, insultingly beautiful. It was as if her face and shoulders and hands were covered in a soft down of underfeathers. You know this well, very well. Midwinter snow was beating the cobblestones around her. A small attaché of officials stood by as her Theriers placed a white gold wreath on her head. The crowning was mostly one of the men in this secret service killed her 22 years later. A young man who had come to suspect that Dolores Day, something that had walked in our midst, watching us stumble for hundreds, if not thousands of years, until it decided to Dolores Day was shot in the chest with a fowling piece 8 times. The man, thought to be insane, said he once touched her and her body had been unnaturally warm, like a furnace, and that sometimes, while on duty, he observed her forgetting to breathe for over. This inhuman quality was witnessed by many others as well, glowing lungs and all. It is commonly attributed to mass hysteria and religious psychology. Terrifying is a term too emotionally charged for your semantic memory, or what remains of it. But although she is often considered to be the greatest human being to ever live, there was something ominous about Dolores Day, constantly surrounded by her terriers. She was the most socially secluded and least self-aware of all the innocences. Some modern thinkers would consider her a war criminal for the campaigns she waged against the Mesk state. And then there were the resettlement programs. The Mesk state tried to detach itself from innocentic rule. Parts of the world were experiencing whiplash from accelerating into secularism. Her mandatory education programs and mass resettlement of upstream Marguerite were problematic as well. Dissenters were suppressed by a military force she called, suggesting those who fight against it are not. She adored chess, yes, but also military war games. Dolores Day often holds a tiny tin soldier between her index finger and thumb in icons such as this. She was also blonde, the blondest woman you have ever seen, with green eyes the color of the Pacific. Mare interregnum. Little is known of her Marchese husband. It's as if he vanished from history after completing his role, which was to introduce Dolores Day to court. In conclusion, yes, there is something lonely, paranoid, and even terrifying that people seldom mention, but feel when they think of her. This subtle terror is part of her icon.
Lieutenant Freighter, you've stood there for over 5 minutes. What are you thinking of, if I may ask? She's been dead for 300 years. I am almost 1,000% certain she isn't connected to the case. None of this is, in fact. This church, the coast, this isn't a good place to get lost in.
The mother of humanism stands above you. A jigsaw of broken shards falls into place in front of you, a ghostly reconstruction of the stained glass window. Before it was shattered, there was an older woman beneath the younger one, and a text, a light motif below them both. Unknown. A motor carriage, a gunshot, someone falling into it, or maybe just hooligans looking for something to break. The escutcheon on her throne says, Irene the Navigator. She is depicted as an older woman wearing thick-rimmed eyeglasses, holding a golden Reichsapfel in one hand and a scepter in the other. This is the queen her Innocence Day advised. Small figures of wise men, common men, worshippers walk up the stairs to stand at her feet. Secret servicemen, Theriers, stand in a row guarding her. It must have taken years to produce this work. Below both women, in luminous black letters, Après la vie, mort. Après la mort, la vie de nouveau. And then, along the left side, Après le monde, la gré. Après le gré, le monde de nouveau. After life, death. After death, life again. After the world, the pale. After the pale, the world again. This is the great leitmotif of humanism, a summary of the effect of the discovery of this Isola, the Insulindian. Could these words be the password that unlocks the filament memory?
Death, life again. After the world, this exaltation is common in Dolorian sacralism. In the early years, it was even incorporated as the RCM slogan. No more, however. It was deemed subservient to use a strongly moral intern-related motto. We already suspected of bootlicking. The sentence was also seen as too feminine. It was justice, union, prudence, and force. So do I.
The mother of humanism.
again. So, and? What happened? Oh, man! Who is he? What did you think? Really? Huh. Interesting. What's he doing in the church?
No matter. Is he gonna be a problem?
Yeah, Noid is right. Let's get...
These guys will never catch him. You will never catch him. There's nothing to do.
I don't know, man. Doesn't it feel like a major hindrance to you? A spooky guy climbing around when all the guests are trying to have nice, friendly hyper time?
I guess it's not a massive problem.
Everyone is welcome. Maybe. I guess we'll figure something out. Okay, but what about the other spooker? The one in Grandma's clothes? Did you see her? A programmer? That's odd. What was she like? Did you ask her about the nightclub?
What a pity. That's my favourite thing in the world. And she doesn't...
A shame. What can we do now? Do you see a way out of this jam? And into a laser-lit...
Unity! Dance!
And you can't just evict her?
Look at you.
Oh, no, Noid. He's right. Maybe we've approached it the wrong way after all. I'm sure there's a workaround. If that's okay with her, we only want to get in the church.
The line's in the dark!
At least Crabman seems like an advanced being.
Yeah, he can do his climbing thing in the tower. And the programmer, does she like Nordic dance music?
Egghead cannot believe what you just said. It makes him pump the jam a little slower for a moment.
No worries. We'll figure it out. If coexisting fails, you can always muscle her out, right? If it's all okay with you, what do you think? Oh man, but the drug lab was like an integral part of...
For me, it was my favourite part. Chemistry's great. Anodic music is great and all, but drugs, they make you feel really good. When did you last feel really, really good? Pull out that stick, lawman. You'd absolutely love drugs. They'll make you feel transcendent.
Excellent. Good luck, my friend. Goodbye, officer.
Yes, what is it? I don't want to make anything work. Yes, anything. I don't want to make anything work. Yes, what is it?
Easy. When her research is done, she can move out.
What? No, I don't really need any help with the project.
She thinks about it. A glassy look in her eyes. A gust of wind brings more snow in from the broken gallery.
All right. Bring me the game's offsite copy from my old workspace, if you really want to help. It's stored on a filament memory, and I'm unable to go and fetch it myself. It's a backup of my former employer's project, the radio game we were working on. It's stored on a...
She's making it extra.
The backup itself is destroyed now, but I'm hoping to use what's left of it to pinpoint the exact...
Hold on. If it's called an off-site copy, then why is it still on-site?
Oh god, not this again. It is not on-site. It is in the basement. Perfectly safe and...
Basement? Sounds like it's tech...
And no, taking it outside the building wouldn't have protected it from the data loss. There's nothing wrong with keeping the backup. We clear? Yeah, that's the one. You can get in through the bookshop. You just have to do some explaining to the bookstore lady. That's her name, I believe. Good. Then you might know the giant ice bear fridge in the building's cellar. The filament is in the giant ice bear fridge. I just told...
But you've been to the fridge and it wasn't there. There was a note saying...
Wait. A note from whom? Did it specify where they took the filament memory? Jawiza. Of course. Our project lead, Suliswov Jawiza. God, he was always so hell-bent on keeping the copy somewhere safe. Like it would have made a difference. The offsite copy was perfectly safe when the data loss happened. And the heads... I won't even get into the head.
Valley of 1,000 Heads. You like the sound of that.
This is getting ridiculous. Can't you just defrost it? Or, I don't know. I don't know about the ice cream maker. Just figure something out. Wait, what? Who's that?
You know, we don't actually have to tell the entire world about the fridge.
Whose body is it? And what is it doing in the fridge? You put it there? You put a dead body inside the ice bin. Okay. Very cool.
We would appreciate it if you kept this knowledge to yourself.
Who would I tell? My mother? I don't have anyone to tell. The bookstore lady hates me. Says I'm part of the curse. Whatever that means. Because she's from Martinez. And people from Martinez have never ever seen a radio computer. She literally started praying for the higher powers when she...
The lieutenant coughs.
Once I came in one morning, only to find... No, that's the production schedule you stole and accessed without authorization.
In his defense, it was simply lying in the desk drawer of an abandoned cubicle.
Okay, but still. Thanks. And here's my Kvalsund multi-tool. You might need it to hack loose some ice. It opens everything. If you get me the offsite copy, then you can keep the Kvalsund.
The legendary Kvalsund multi-tool. This is Prybar version 2.0 for professionals like...
Yes? Thanks.
It's awful and familiar. It doesn't help. Don't you recognize it? That hideous pungency. Something cold wakes in the pit of your stomach. It is death. It must be. The lieutenant has already There's some tear, an empty cigarette package, and a crumpled kebab wrapper in the trash bin. 2 empty bottles of Tallulah vodka and a can of black. No, there's more in there. Livis strawberry liquor, plus
a tragedy.
Whoever tossed it here was a heavy smoker. The Bread Astra is the black market version of Astra cigarettes, known for their high tar content. You see traces of mayonnaise and ketchup on it, as well as a tomato wedge. It's no older than a day or two. It's hard to concentrate in the smell. The sea air brings some relief. A man lies on the boardwalk, his limbs bent and neck turned at an unnatural angle. Half of his body has slipped between the cracked boardwalk, starting with the right leg. The fall has left him broke. The smell is not as bad as a 2-week...
Hold on. Lividity is faintly pronounced. Whoever this is has been dead for 2 days. No longer. We need to investigate.
Calm now. Carefully. Just another day. Just another dead body. Breathe. He's wearing mud-caked boots, beige trousers, and an old brown leather jacket with a bright blue. The leather jacket suits him well. It must be fine. Some sunflower seeds and a rain-soaked library card folded into 2. His jacket...
Good. We should take a look at that library card after this is done.
The man has fallen through a crack in the boardwalk and hit his head against the metal bench. Coagulated blood covers his black hair. A bad fall. It might have been dark outside. When damp, these boards are really slippery. Even as his expression is dull, like the sea behind him. Drops of water shine. Height 170 to 175 centimeters. Curly hair. Stout build. Age. There's some dried blood on the metal bench, right where the corpse's head rests. The floorboards are rotten and slippery wet around the hole. Be very, very careful where you step here. A dried chunk of blood covers the hair at the back of his head. An open wound. This is what killed him.
I don't see any other major wounds, do you? Seems like the head wound was fatal. It's exactly the shape.
They screech under your feet ominously. It's hard to say whether the dead... You see waves churning below. He could have easily disappeared into the sea through that hole, and you would have never found him. A .75 liter Tallulah vodka with its cap missing.
Tear all around us. I'd prefer if you didn't collect them this time. It's not proper.
Grabowski spearmint chewing gum. Green leaves on the cover. The man's mouth is half agape. The blackness of death. Stench. Confirmed. Nearly the whole pack is there.
He ate the whole pack, right? It's to cover the smell of alcohol. I've seen it before. Almost the same scenario. Even the chewing gum.
The entire boardwalk creaks in the wind as you take a step.
Looks like one of the locals. He'd have to know this spot to come here. You don't. But that's just a lazy assumption. What do you think? We do know that he was married. But you're right. Let's not run ahead. For now, all we know is that he's an unidentified middle-aged man found dead on the Martinet. Death by misadventure. He slipped and fell through the boardwalk. A truly unfortunate accident. If it wouldn't have been for that bench, he'd be alive. Oh yes. Some symptoms of acute alcohol poisoning could have definitely played a role here. But I think that death arrived through head trauma. No, I don't see anything that points in that direction.
Agreed. If this somehow converges later, why not? But keep it simple for now.
What about it? The deceased ate some kebab. It's probably from a nearby place, maybe.
Sometimes a kebab is just a kebab.
They'll seal this place off after the news reaches the coalition officials. I doubt that they have it. Not that sealing it off would keep anyone away. All it does is keep the city council's hands clean. It does seem to be a pretty straightforward misadventure. From where I stand, I can see two options. We either take the case and follow the leads to identify the body on our own, or we report back to the station and leave this for our colleagues to handle. A field autopsy isn't necessary if the cause of death doesn't appear to be criminal. I'd say we should just write down head trauma and leave it at that. Let's keep this detour as short as possible. Maybe, but we don't really have much time or resources to Alright, we should first examine the library card you found. Then we can call the station for my kinema.
The library card is folded into two and still slightly wet to the touch. Billy is a unisex name. Could be the deceased or his family. Whoever owns this card is an avid reader. You find a list of books written in blue pencil. Radio thriller. Most of these titles seem to be in the sci-fi genre. If lost, please return the card to the library. Dial 005.
Good. We should give them a call from my kinema. See if we can learn anything.
Good idea. There was plenty of information here.
Ok. Mais uma data de questões e nenhuma resposta. É isso mesmo. Tá bem. Vamos é parar por aqui. Está na hora de ir jantar. E depois continuamos. Caralho, este jogo é só tipo perguntas atrás de perguntas, non-stop. Oh. Thank you for watching. Mais tarde a gente volta com o Final Fantasy XVI. Bye bye. Até logo.